Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching The Haunting of Hill House, Season 1, Episode 3, Touch. And I am joined once again by my emotional support baby Yoda, because I'm not even going to fool myself that I'm not going to want to cuddle him at some point during this episode. This episode being called Touch, I am guessing means we're going to be following Theo again, who's not going down the kids in age order. Thank you so much, Albert, for sponsoring this show. I'm so excited to keep going. Something I wanted to mention is that when I was editing Episode 1 for YouTube, the first time I watched it, especially the scene where their dad was dragging them all out of the house, it was all chaotic and I was terrified. I wasn't paying as much attention, whereas when I was editing, I kind of knew where there were scary bits and I was able to pay more attention. And I noticed that Luke said, I saw Abigail in the house. I saw Abigail in the house. He was trying to get out of the car and go in because he saw Abigail in the house, which makes me think the little blonde girl he keeps seeing in the woods is called Abigail. But yeah, I'm guessing that'll be in his episode whenever that comes up. But yeah, reminder that if you're watching this on YouTube, the reactions go up every Wednesday on Patreon. Right now it is the 2nd, well, I'm filming this on the 2nd of November. It'll be going up on the 3rd of November. So yes, if you're watching it on a Sunday, you know when you can get it. But I wanted to post it on Halloween on YouTube. So yeah, thank you so much, Albert, for sponsoring this show, and let's go.
Are you Nellie? I had another nightmare.
I don't think it's Nellie.
Nellie, you're squeezing too tight.
It's not Nellie.
Nellie?
No wonder she doesn't like to be touched. Sorry, I would be point blank throwing tantrums, refusing to be in this house. You couldn't make me stay. Like, I mean, I guess as a child you could be made to stay, but yeah, I would be tantruming, ganging up with my other siblings.
That's how I always know. Creep.
So she's a counsellor. Good. I mean, it makes sense. She's been through hell.
What does Smiley look like?
God, is this a case where it's a real ghost? Or is it a little girl who's just having nightmares?
Where he lives, we make ourselves really safe. And no one ever gets in.
That's not the healthiest of...
Smiley does.
Oh, fuck.
Our other 2 foster kids are thriving. We just want
That's not exactly the healthiest mindset if no one can ever get in.
Telling me about
She's put what she went through and is trying to turn that into something that can be helpful to others.
Standing in front of an open refrigerator.
What do the Dudleys know about this place?
This whole house is cold.
Oh. Does she have like a... Is that why... Oh. Does she have like a supernatural sense of touch? And that's why she puts gloves on so she doesn't do it. I was thinking like she had a traumatic experience like a ghost holding her hand. But does she have some kind of like supernatural senses?
Bad.
No, it's rice now. I'm telling you.
This girl, is this... Did that develop at this house?
I'll give each of you 8% of any royalties, and if it sells as well as my publisher thinks it will, it's...
You're welcome to every red cent. Right?
Yep. Blood money.
Right.
Did she take the money? I mean, it's your story. If it's going to get published, you might as well take a little bit from it. Good. Oh, I don't like it. I would never be alone in this house. She's not happy. None of them are, really. Even some of them that have got their lives a little bit more together, they're not all the way happy.
What do you think you're doing?
I was just giving my truck a ride.
What's that?
Your little brother was getting into trouble.
Want to let go of his arm?
Yeah, you don't get to touch children like that, especially when they're not your
Hi,
children.
Miss Dudley. Why are you yelling at him?
Because the
Yes.
dumbwaiter is not a toy. It can be dangerous.
That's all you need to say then.
Uh-huh.
Enough.
She's
So,
not mean.
she's scared.
She's scared.
What makes you say that?
So it's wherever she gets touched, on any portion of her skin. Interesting. I was wondering that when she was wearing gloves but with bare arms. What do the Dudleys know?
The kid-sized elevator.
Fine.
She was weighing it up logically, but this...
Don't tell anyone I did this for you.
This house is not a good house to do this in.
Hey! Theo! Luke!
Oh my god.
Theo! Luke! Theo!
Oh my god. Oh god. Oh no, thank you. What the fuck?
Theo!
Holy shit! Oh.
What happened?
Holy shit.
Caught on the door.
Sorry, Grammy. Watch her. Is he okay?
Go to your room. Come here. Come here.
Oh.
Let's see what happened. Okay.
There is more to this house. There is so much more to this house. Oh, no wonder he has his problems now. And she probably blames herself for them. And oh Lord, don't let someone else grab her hand. Did she not sense anything when the person grabbed her hand that it wasn't Nellie? I'm very stressed. Or has that only started after last night when the thing grabbed her hand? Was that the first time she'd ever been able to do this? I'm sorry, I'm talking very fast. You may have to put this on minus 0.5 speed. Oh God. I really especially don't like this because every time I wake up, my covers are like I've woken up with them sideways with my sheet around my neck like a scarf. My covers do not. Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
Okay.
They seem happy.
Really? It's gotta be Henry.
Oh, my money's on Matt. He collects bridesmaids.
No.
Say both. Ooh. Yep.
We didn't know you were into.
Bridesmaids?
I love you.
Aunt Nellie killed herself? Yes, that's better than lying.
It is. I mean, don't just say Aunt Nellie killed herself.
Dad did. Because I don't want to have to tell them that I'm fucking pissed at Auntie Nell, who should have known better than most. What this does to a family.
That is all completely
Fucking knew better.
human responses to something like this. There's no right or wrong. It doesn't mean you don't feel the loss anymore. And you know, people often use the argument of oh, suicide's just selfish. And when you, like, to a degree, obviously it can be if you have a loving, supportive family, or at least a loving family around you. But obviously the person that does it is never in that headspace of thinking, oh, I'm just going to do this and fuck over all my family. You know, it's not that simple. So, like, someone taking their own life does devastate a family, and Nellie has been through it, although she was tiny. I think there is a ghostly element to it, though, so I don't necessarily know it was as straightforward as she killed herself, but we will see, I guess, unfortunately. But that is a totally human response to have. It doesn't mean she's not also sad.
Ever believes me?
She does. Did that start after the ghost touched her hands? Or had she been able to do that before?
6, 7.
Please don't investigate alone, my love.
9.
The parents should be doing this with Luke to prove to him that there's not a scary basement or something. Children should not be doing this alone. And when I say parents should be doing this with Luke, I also mean that I should not be along for the ride. It should just be a thing the family does together quite privately. No. Holy shit, there's a face, there's a face, there's a face, there's a face. There's a face behind the ladder. Holy shit. Why would you go down there without a torch and all alone? Okay, well that is slightly better, but I still don't like this. There was a face and Luke saw a creepy monster. Do. Oh god, I don't like it. Yep, see, it's all the way in the room. Luke wouldn't have dragged it all the way into the room. Is there a door? There's like a door. Why have you come down here alone? I know she doesn't believe there's anything scary, but please, child. Maybe carry a hammer just to be safe. I don't like, this show is so good at drawing out the suspense, and suspense tends to be the thing that gets to me the most because my brain starts overworking what could happen. I'm like, oh, someone's going to jump at us, someone's going to do this, someone's going to do that. So the answer here is either there is really a ghost, and that, or something bad is happening to the little girl in a whole other way. A different type of bad. Is there like a stain on the ceiling or something that looks like a smile? That man, I presume, needs to be taken away from these children. There is a monster in this house, but it is not a supernatural one.
Your smile.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that you're so brave.
Oh Lord, what's she experiencing from touching her mum? Oh, fuck.
Honey?
She can see future events as well. He's confessed. You affect positive change in this world, even after everything you've been through. And you put yourself through hell to get there.
They started when I was a little girl. And when I get them, I see all sorts of...
Does she also have some
Your
sort of
grandmother
supernatural
was
sense?
like that too. And I asked Nellie what she thought about the house when we moved in. She said it was loud. Such an odd word she chose.
Yes, maybe we should get all the children out of the
She always
house.
wore sweaters inside. These will help with the cold.
Her
And
first
the other
gloves.
thing. We'll talk a lot more about it as you get older. But
No,
in the
you won't.
meantime,
I'll have no one to learn about it
if you're
from.
feeling overwhelmed,
Yeah.
Thanks. That was really wild stuff, considering that you were asleep for what? Like 99% of it? I'm gonna get my fucking PhD.
She put the money to good use. And I don't blame her. I can understand people taking the kind of it's blood money approach, and I can also understand people doing the opposite. Oh, is she gonna go and see Nellie? Because bad things happened in there last time. Oh. They need better security because she just casually strolled into the morgue. Oh my god. What did she see? Or was there an absence of sight? Did she not see anything? Or was the other checking account because he has taken money from the book? Is that why he has a secret checking account?
Okay?
And that's why, and she knows about it.
You sure? You look...
Are you okay?
Yeah, just we barely said 2 words to each other.
She wants more than
Can we
that.
take a second and talk?
She just needed help, and no one was listening.
You were.
And it's so much like Nellie.
Yeah. You just need someone to hold you. And that connection. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Get Steve and Cheryl.
What's happening?
Go. Come on.
He touched her skin, right?
Come on.
Stop!
Oh my god.
Let go! Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Oh my god.
touch me.
Oh. Okay, I am loving this show. I am so sorry if my reactions aren't enjoyable because I spend most of them hidden behind Baby Yoda, but it just, I used to be beyond terrible with anything remotely scary. I'd like avoid it. I'm much better now, but yeah, I need my comfort. And you know, I'm just so invested in the story of these characters and what they've been through. The acting is amazing from the kids to the adults. I'm so entranced by this story. I'm so heartbroken by this story. And I just really do want to know where it goes next. But just, that does mean this little guy is my shield. Theo. I think this episode was so interesting to me in that they really uncovered that obviously we believe that ghosts are real. I'm not thinking it's going to turn out to be a case like the little girls in this episode. I'm thinking it is going to be really ghosts or some kind of supernatural essence left over by the Hill family or whatever. But the Crane family is particularly sensitive to it. So would a different family have moving in not have had so many moments of wouldn't have been so sensitive to it because they weren't as sensitive? And if it's passed down through girls, Shirley has a daughter. Does she have some kind of sensitivity? And if so, is growing up in a funerary home going to be a good thing for her? But just the idea that Theo, because I was initially assuming that it was purely just a trauma response, which is what I imagine most people will assume it was, that, she went through so much that she just can't stand being touched and touching other people. That's what I thought the gloves were. And obviously I think that is an element of it, especially when, every time she touches people she sees horrific things, and clearly that night she saw everything that happened, or at least everything her dad believed happened. I don't know how she came to rationalise it as she got older. They didn't really tell us so much what she believes now, so much as kind of that last moment was just, chills. And that's why she has the gloves off sometimes, because when she chooses to, she's happy to initiate touch. Oh Lord, I'm so scared just for these. Doesn't it just break your heart when you think about what a beautiful family they were? Were they perfect? Of course not, they're a family. But they were doing their best. The parents were trying to make a good life for themselves and their kids. They were teaching the kids such open-minded ideals. They just seem like such a family that should flourish and thrive. Obviously, even if the family were hideous, it wouldn't be good that it happened to them, but you know what I mean. To sort of see how all of these kids are shaped by it and how they grew up. And so knowing that, Shirley, what was it that, somebody don't like mackerel or something? I don't know I can't remember what she said in the first episode now. But, they all have their own sensitivities. And yeah, if the boys don't, could that explain why they didn't really see much? But then actually Luke has seen a whole lot, so it's interesting that it only passes to the girls. Does it actually pass to the boys and she just wasn't looking out for signs of it in them? So for Theo, in some ways that is so fascinating. You have to pick up a historical artifact and tell everything it did. That is just amazing. An archaeologist's dream. But obviously, the world is a shitty place. People have been through traumas. A bed, a knife, whatever you touch. There are things that will have potentially been through horrific incidents. It's interesting to me that she saw her mum dead, in the nightgown with her head caved in or whatever. Now obviously we still don't know quite what happened to her mother, but they ruled it as a suicide. So it's interesting that she seemed to have a vision of the future with that, not just the past of objects. But obviously, given how horrific a lot of the world is and how much suffering there is and how much suffering, if objects around us were taking in the energy from that, that would be a lot for anybody to take, let alone a child. The gloves were a brilliant idea in that sense, to protect her so that it was kind of up to her when she touched. I'm a little unclear as to whether she's always had that ability and always known it, but I think I got the sense that it was after she had the ghost hand touch of what she thought was her sister, that was when it kind of activated it in her, but I may be wrong. Oh, that was chilling as well. The Mr. Smiley thing, I know that was just in her head. I know that was kind of a residual nightmare dream thing, I think. Or unless because she's sensitive she can project things into the world. Then the idea of the actual Mr. Smiley, in so many cases in real life, when you have children talking about imaginary friends or nightmare creatures and having these recurring nightmares, especially children that are in a foster system, but just children anywhere, it is important to try and figure out why they are having those nightmares. Because some children genuinely do just get night terrors. There's nothing bad being done to them or happening to them, they just get those night terrors. And for other children, it is their way of asking for help. And I'm so glad that little girl is going to get help. But yeah, the foster system is messed up, and I don't know how to fix it personally, but because you need all the foster carers you can get, but at the same time, children are left in vulnerable positions all of the time. I admire Shirley so much for she is not running away from her trauma. Now, I don't believe she's dealing with her trauma per se, in the sense that I feel like she's kept her brick walls up. Maybe she's going to let them down with the nice friend she's making. I don't know why I call her a friend, girlfriend. So I think if they could also become friends, that would be good for them. Maybe that will be good for her, but she's very much, I feel like there's no one that will understand her, no one that's been through what she's been through. Maybe the people that were most perceptively aware of what was going on would be, like Nellie, but you're not exactly going to go, hey, traumatized little sister, want to talk about the trauma? So I guess, kind of figuring out what to do. I feel like she's just being very alone because she feels like there is no one she can let in. It just breaks your heart in so many ways, and I hope we're going to see for her kind of being able to let somebody in, seeing little pieces of her, though I just have no idea where the show is, how the show is going to go, where it's going to go next. The money, taking the money from Stephen. I can understand both sides of the argument. I can totally understand that this is a story that should not be told for profit. This is our family's personal history and story, the worst moment, like the thing that has ruined our lives, the thing that has shaped us as people, our worst night, and you are profiting from this. You have turned this into some gimmicky, like, I can totally understand Shirley's opinion on it. But I also don't think Theo taking the money is a bad thing, because the way I would see it is this book is being published. My saying no, don't do it clearly isn't going to do anything, because like Shirley said, no, don't do it, and he's doing it anyway. I do think I would have taken the money just because it's my story, and if he's publishing it anyway, well then fuck you, I'm taking my percentage of the profit. I would have still been a bit cross with him, but I would have been like, you know, that money got her a PhD. She is now able to do what she does because of him. The husband taking the money is a little bit more iffy, because obviously you really ought to be like a united front, and if he really believes they should have taken the money, he should have actually tried to talk about it with Shirley, and if she didn't want to do it, they shouldn't have done it. That one is stickier water, but we will see how he gets out of it. I think I got off track. What I was saying with Shirley is I'm so proud of her, because despite all the trauma she's been through that she's not really dealt with herself, she's not shying away from it. She has pursued a PhD, perhaps to kind of try to, in psychology of children, to understand what happened to her family. Maybe she was hoping that through understanding the human psyche, she would understand why she experienced what she experienced as a child. But even within that, even though she's not fully at peace with her own experiences, she is helping children. Her whole life is reaching out, intentionally touching children who have been through God knows what, to try and help them. She is exposing herself to so much more trauma to try and help others, other children in the position she was in when she felt so alone, like there was no one fighting for her, and same with her siblings, and I love that so much. I really admire her for that. Oh, Nellie. It breaks my heart when you kind of see it was 2 years ago she got married. Now, we don't know where her husband is, we don't know what happened, if he cheated, if she cheated, if he died, I have no idea. But the fact that by the time the first episode started, it was like, oh, it's Nellie again, oh, she's always calling for help, maybe we should put up some walls, or, you know, teach it, like, she can get some distance. Obviously their father was like, oh, if Nellie needs something, we rush. I'm so I mean, I don't want to know, to be honest, because I don't want to know what happened to her, but, I mean, I feel like Theo knows exactly what happened to her, but to sort of, she seemed so, like, her life was going okay in the same way that the rest of the siblings other than Luke's lives were kind of going okay. They still had the residual traumas and the residual issues, but they were carrying on fine, whereas where we met her, it was as though, I mean, I know she said the bent neck lady was back, but the way they were talking about her was as though she was having continual problems, and maybe that's what destroyed the marriage, I don't know. But they all just seemed so happy other than Luke. Poor Luke. And poor Luke, I thought his traumas were going to stem from Abigail and the mother's death, same as all of them. That whole moment where he was in the basement and there was like a weird creepy creature coming from him, and I swear to God when Theo went down that ladder there was a face behind it. Beyond horrific. Ugh. No wonder that poor man is, oh, poor boy, he grew into a poor man, is struggling so much. And again, it's one of those things where if you sit down in a therapy session and you say like, oh, you know, I'm in a dumb, I got stuck in a basement we didn't know about, and a creepy ghoul man ripped my pyjamas, they will be like, okay, yeah, that was when you were a kid, it wasn't real. You know, I feel like because of the nature of what's caused their trauma, they're never going to be taken seriously when they talk about their trauma. People are always going to try and put it as like, oh, you had a night terror, or, you know, kind of going to try and make it seem real, which is what we would do in the real world. But yeah, it's a lot. And just that moment where we see, you know, Theo's going down, I guess, for her night, a glass of water, and then she sees the dad with the kids, hears the banging, which she's been haunted by people banging walls and doors, and then her dad, when he grabs her arm, and she sees everything that has been happening. Fuck. I'm very stressed and scared. Like, I'm getting terrified of these episodes. How the hell am I going to cope with the end of the season? But I'm so invested in the story. I'm so invested in the storytelling. I think they gave us a real glimpse of what happened that night, like little teeny flashes, but we don't know nearly enough to know exactly what happened. And I just really want the surviving members of this family to be okay as they can be at the end of it, and I just don't know how. So this was fantastic. Thank you so much, Albert, for sponsoring this show, and thank you for watching.